Ready?
What you got working there, Holly?
I am making a meat pie with a little bit of everything that we had left over. So I had a beer. I had some mushrooms. I had some celery, some hamburger meat, some leftover brisket, and oxtails, and Lord knows what. And we're just gonna throw it all together and make an old-fashioned meat pie. We're using some of the Lambo Combo sauce in it. We're put about a cup Lambo Combo in it.
So sweet, huh? That's a little, I didn't expect that.
Yeah. And we're gonna put about 2 cups of beef broth. Now this is 14 ounces of beef broth, so I just used the whole bottle of beer instead of half the beer. It'll just boil down, it'll taste just as good.
So this is a leftover meat pie?
This is a leftover meat pie.
I like it.
So you can trick everyone into having leftovers without them knowing it.
Repurpose and replace.
What is it your grandma said?
Waste not, want not.
Waste not, what not.
So tell me how you come up with this. What's the inspiration here?
The inspiration is I love shepherd's pie.
Okay, me too.
And the inspiration is I have a lot of leftovers in my fridge that I need to use up before they go bad. Like I had some mushrooms that were about to go bad. I had some celery that, give it another 3 days, it was going to get wimpy on me. So this was more of a, I've got to figure out something to use with this. I had a bottle of beer in there that since someone decided he was going to stop drinking beer again for the umpteenth time, I had a beer in the fridge that needed to go so that he didn't drink it. And it was just a combination of that. We poured in some of your barbecue sauce.
That's the part I didn't expect.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah. So we used some of your Lambo Combo sauce. I had some hamburger meat to use up. So I used some of your Texas beef seasoning with the hamburger meat. And then I used a little bit of your barbecue.
That's cool. So this is a sort of a shepherd's pie / pot pie.
It's a meat pie. So now we are ready to combine everything together. We have our mixture. It's come to a cooling point, and we've added in some frozen peas and carrots. And it's just 1 bag of frozen peas and carrots. You don't want to add it in until you're about to put the mixture into the pie crust. Now with the pie crust, we just use a ready-made pie crust, and we put it into the pie pan. And then here's a trick. You put beans inside of parchment paper, and then you bake it for about 10 to 15 minutes until the bottom is done. Parchment paper makes it so that you just lift it off. It's easy as that. Now all we have to do is fill it up and then put the top pie crust on, and then bake it until the top pie crust is done, and then it's ready to eat.
I'm really happy with the way this turned out. What do you think?
I'm very happy with it.
I mean, the color.
It's beautiful.
All your little rosettes and leaves.
Those are daisies.
Daisies. Okay. So the pie crust came out great. I mean, even though we cheated with pre-made pie crust,
It's easier.
I'm pretty stoked about the flakiness of this.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that. And the texture, even though it's super hot still, when you cut it,
It stayed.
It stayed.
Yeah. But we also had the filling very thick.
And if
You
it's
don't
not
want
thick
it
enough, you
soupy.
just add a little more with flour and cook
Right,
it till
right.
it gets really nice and thick.
Right. Because you don't want it soupy, because if it's soupy, it's just going to pour out. And you're going to lose your piece of pie. I mean, look how pretty that is. That's a piece of pie. That is your meat pie.
How does it taste?
Tastes pretty good. Here, take a bite. Now you're going to have some sweet in it from the barbecue sauce that we used. So, again, this is sort of a leftover thing. Whatever barbecue sauce you have laying around that you like, you can use it. Like 3 tablespoons of it, okay? We added some rosemary in it because we had some rosemary here. We added some peas and some carrots because we had peas and carrots.
If you got some leftover mashed taters or whatever, baked potato,
You
any
can
kind of
make
meat?
this yours because you're going to use the beer that you drink. You're going to use the barbecue sauce that you use.
Seasoning is kind of up in the air. I mean, you can make it more savory if you wanted. You can make it
spicy.
Spicy, however you want to go down. You can make it with chicken if you have chicken. But I tell you what, the texture of that, and you can just barely get the beer.
Yeah.
And I tell you, It's got some of the leftovers from making noodle soup. So it's got all kinds of
There's no telling what
rich
kind of
meat
meat's
in
there.
it. It's got pork neck bones and oxtails and shank bones and pork ham hocks and there's just a little and some brisket.
Yeah. And the trick with the mushrooms, or not, well, the mushrooms, but the carrots and the peas, you've got to use the frozen.
Okay.
Because we baked this for about 45 minutes in the red box at about, what was it, at 400? Where you had it at? For about 45 minutes until the top was nice and golden brown.
So if
Now,
you use fresh stuff, it would just disintegrate.
it would get mushy inside, and then you probably wouldn't even see it.
So texture is a big deal.
And we did put a egg wash on with the egg white.
That's what really makes that color stuff.
Right, right.
Cool.
And you have to do it very gently because if you don't, it'll glob. And it'll make it look like it has burn marks. And it's
Okay.
just where the egg white's globbed on it. So you have to be gentle when you put it on.
So if you didn't get the recipe through the video, we'll post it up real quick and leave it up there for about 15-20 seconds so you guys can write this down. But don't rely on the recipe, make it your own. This is a leftover meat pie. Use your leftovers, make it your own. Just make sure it's thick enough
Yeah.
so that it doesn't run out when you cut it. You know, use a few little hints, like she used the beans to keep the crust all nice and even. It didn't rise up and bubble on her. So a few little things like that make a huge difference. And I mean, you could you could serve that with some sour cream, creme fraiche. There's a ton of different things you can do with it. Make it your own leftover meat pie.
Butter.
Lots of butter. Yeah. So subscribe to our channel if you haven't already at Sweet Swine O Mine.
Oh, you could use cheese too.
No. And try this out. Use your leftovers. God bless you. Thanks for watching.